Food deserts have become a major issue in the U.S. and are defined as the lack of fresh produce and other healthy foods in an area. Usually this means that there are no grocery stores, farmers markets, or other healthy food providers within a 1-mile radius. A food desert is defined as a residential area with high poverty levels where at least 1/3 of the residents live more than a mile away from a grocery store. This means that for someone who does not have access to personal transportation such as their own vehicle, that person must rely on the closest food source available. These sources are usually fast food or restaurants that only provide more expensive one-time meals that lack proper nutrition. People living in the poorest areas have 2.5 times the exposure to fast food restaurants as those in wealthier areas. This also correlates to increased diabetes rates, which have been proven that the death rate from diabetes in food deserts are twice that in areas with accessible grocery stores. People living within a food desert are usually in low-income neighborhoods or parts of a major urban area that is impoverished. This also means that public transit may be of use to some people in food deserts, but most of these transit options only allow a certain number of bags per person, making this option unavailable to those who are willing to travel to the nearest grocery store for fresh food. About 23.5 million people live in food deserts. 2.3 million people, that is 2.2% of households in the U.S., live in low-income rural and urban areas that are more than 10 miles from a supermarket. Even these numbers are skewed because of classifications of grocery stores that might only sell a few prepackaged items. This limitation to accessible food also harms those who have dietary restrictions. Food deserts have become such an issue in the U.S. that the USDA has researched and mapped out the different levels of food deserts throughout the country. First Lady Michelle Obama also set forth an initiative to locate and expand the availability of healthy and affordable food in the Healthy Food Financing Initiative, HFFI. Her campaign hopes to eradicate food deserts altogether. The top 9 most severe urban food deserts in the U.S. include New Orleans, Chicago, Illinois, Atlanta, Georgia, Memphis, Tennessee, Minneapolis, Minnesota, San Francisco, California, Detroit, Michigan, the state of New York, and Camden, New Jersey. Overall, North Carolina is the 8th hungriest state in the U.S. Although the state has historically always been covered in produce farms that can even be seen in urban areas, there is still very low food security in North Carolina. Poverty is linked to food deserts both because of lack of access to grocery stores in poor areas, as well as a connection to issues with affording higher-priced healthy foods. Those who are not in danger of improper food access include children, single parents, and seniors. Poverty in North Carolina is most dominant in these counties. There are 17 identified food deserts in Greensboro and 24 overall in Guilford County. The North Carolina General Assembly found 349 food deserts in 80 of the state's counties, showing that around 1.5 million North Carolina residents live in a food desert. What has caused this extreme amount of food deserts? There are several implications that make it clear why food deserts are so widespread across the country in North Carolina. Food retailers, for one, are not encouraged to develop in low-income areas. This is because of high development costs and perceived low return rates. Affordability of an area's average household also shows what type and price of food that area will shop for. Low-income areas shop at the cheapest stores, while higher-income areas shop at all price range stores. This also shows that areas that have higher-income residents have a greater availability of where to shop for food, while lower-income areas have to travel to even get to the closest grocery store, not to mention if it's affordable or not. Health issues that rise from this non-accessible healthy food, such as diabetes, cause these already low-income households to become poorer due to medical costs. Overall, the income of an area leads to the type of developments and transportation available in that area, which causes food deserts in low-income neighborhoods and cities. Food deserts are a major issue in low-income areas, both urban and rural. For those located in urban or inner-city food deserts, the only option available for poorer residents is to buy what is closest and most affordable, which is usually fast food or unhealthy prepackaged food. How can change be accomplished to help those who lack proper nutrition and diets in these areas? We will be focusing on the Triad area of North Carolina as an example for how high levels of food deserts in an area can be fought in order to bring accessible and more affordable fresh food to those in need. I currently live in one of those food deserts in Greensboro, and although this is not an option for most households in the area, A homegrown garden can set some relief for those who cannot access fresh food all of the time. This option is regularly only available to those who have space for planting their own food and only for the warmer months of the year. We share our produce with neighbors and family who also don't have regular access to fresh food. There is also a community and student-led effort in the Warnersville community in Greensboro. This is a community farmhouse at a local church within a major food desert. The movement was started with combined effort from UNCG professors and students, as well as leaders from the church. Dr. Marianne LaGreco is one of those primary leaders of this farm. The work put into the farm is all voluntary by students and local residents alike. Everyone in the community or those who know about the farm are encouraged to go pick fresh veggies whenever. This is one of the many flyers seen around downtown Greensboro and in the residential areas south of UNCG that are within food deserts. Events and organizations like these that promote local farmer markets and social interaction help to fight food deserts by providing fresh produce not found locally right down the road. In more rural areas in between Greensboro and Winston-Salem, there are other issues that contribute to the issue of food deserts. Although this residential area is not in a low-income area, their contribution to the issue of food deserts can be seen with what are called grass farms. Although there are some small local farms in this area, the large stretches of land that could be used for farm or to produce fresh food are taken up with expensive grass yards. In Kernersville, a smaller town in between Greensboro and Winston-Salem, there are several organizations that have taken the initiative to feed the hungry the best way that can be managed. Vickie, the data manager of the largest primary school in the area, Piney Elementary, is one of the leading figures in the local backpack lunch program. We've seen the effects of food deserts or lack of food security in this area since the Greensboro High Point part of North Carolina is highest for food insecurity. Have you seen those effects here?
Here in our community, yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
We got 631 students here, and every week we send home 30 bags. This is our backpack lunch program.
What's in them?
So we send home every weekend with students that the teachers have made us aware of that don't possibly have food on the weekends. They'll get 2 meats, 2 juices, 2 fruits, and 2 cereals. A lot of those kids are home on the weekends, possibly alone because parents are working. Both parents would be out of the house, so most of our things are kid friendly, like they'll have pop tops or peel tops, so the kids can help themselves.
So there's no fresh food because it would expire, or
some of our people don't have power, some of them don't have running water. We don't know exactly all of their living conditions, so we don't send anything that needs to be refrigerated. We're not exactly sure where the food is ending.
And who works on this project?
Well, it started out at Bunker Hill United Methodist Church as a Girl Scout Gold Award project. Miss Landreth's granddaughter started it. And then our church, Pine Grove United Methodist Church, joined in because we saw that the need was more than what they were putting into it. And each year it's just grown and grown. Just in the last month, Marsh Chapel Church has joined in. So we're sending 30 bags a week.
And does the school or the state help pay for this?
No, this is all donations from these 3 churches.
All right, can you tell me about Pine Grove's efforts to help feed the hungry, the homeless?
We started at our church about 5 or 6 years ago, just sending in 5 bags a week, just in my Sunday school class, which has got anywhere from 8 to 12 people every Sunday. And then just this past year, we asked the whole congregation of 100 to start helping us. So this past year, we actually donated 600 bags to Piney Grove to send home with the students.
Is that throughout the year? What?
The school year. School starts at the end of August. We usually started at the end of September. It's not a call us if you want some free food kind of deal. It's the teachers that are with the kids 24 hours each day.
It's okay, stop.
A day, the teachers that are with them every day will pick up on who is, who's hungry, who doesn't bring snack, who not bringing lunch or doesn't buy lunch or eats, you can tell when somebody that cafeteria yummy meal is all that kid's had, and they think it's like eating a steak to them.
Yeah.
Those teachers make the office staff aware of who's needy and who might be interested and in need of that kind of service. I mean, the same thing goes for like clothes, shoes, winter coats. Teachers make us aware of it, and we find a way to make it happen.
Okay. Can we talk about the small farm that you guys have at your church?
Small farm. Monty Beeson plows up part of the yard. We bought a house next door to our church, and it's got a large yard, and so they decided to plant and grow a garden for the community. And this is probably the 4th year, maybe, this has been going on, and it's open to the community to come and take as they need, but also we have volunteers within the church who come 3 days a week to pick it. They'll send out an email, this is in, the beans are ready, anybody who needs squash, the cucumbers are ready for pickling. But we have people who come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to gather produce, and they take it to the Crisis Control Center here in Kernersville, or they take it to the soup kitchen in Winston-Salem. So it's all donated.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other projects that you can think of?
Projects. I just know that the backpack program is growing rapidly.
Good.
That's not something that was well known or done a lot, and now, you hear about it a lot through different churches.
When did it start again?
Here, about, I'm saying 5 or 6 years ago.
How many bags do you think a year did you get when you first started compared to now?
We were sending out 5 or 6 a week just to certain families that we knew were in need.
And it's grown to 600?
Well, we gave 600 from our church. There's 3 churches doing it.
Okay.
So it's about 30 bags a week for 9 months of school.
Okay.
It's about 120 bags a month.
Okay. I think. Even in historically farm-based states such as North Carolina, food deserts are a major issue. This can be seen across the U.S. in many high-population cities that have segregated income areas without proper access to grocery stores. The top cities in the U.S. that contain the worst food deserts included New York, California, and Louisiana. Food deserts make poor areas poorer and cause health issues for those areas as well. Single-parent families, as well as children and the elderly, are all at higher risk of not being able to find adequate food or nutrition in their community because of their city's food deserts. In Greensboro, there are many organizations and movements that are assisting those in food deserts. The Renaissance Community Co-op is located in Phillips Avenue in East Greensboro and is a way to provide healthy and fresh produce to one of the most impoverished areas of Greensboro. More than 33% of the people in this food desert were more than a mile away from any grocery store, so this co-op is essential to the needs of this community. Overall, solutions to the rampant food desert issue across the U.S. include the push for more grocery stores to move into impoverished areas, the implementation of community actions such as food drives, church food organizations, volunteer work, and donations to feed hungry individuals such as children, and other acts of public and state assistance to those areas facing a food desert.